What if I told you that a boring job could actually be the key to your career success? It might sound strange, but the truth is, many people who work in low-key roles end up thriving in ways that others don't expect. In fact, research shows that employees in stable, routine jobs are 22% less likely to experience burnout. And here's a shocker, 84% of people who work in predictable jobs report feeling more focused and productive. So why are we so obsessed with flashy careers and exciting roles? The truth is, the most successful people often avoid the spotlight and focus on steady growth instead. Bill Gates, for example, didn't rise to fame by jumping from one crazy project to another. He spent years perfecting his craft behind the scenes, slowly but surely. In this video, we'll explore how boring jobs actually offer unique opportunities to build skills, grow networks, and avoid burnout, all while climbing the career ladder at your own pace. Stick around to discover how you can turn a so-called boring job into the perfect foundation for a successful career. You won't want to miss it. Chapter 1: The Hidden Power of Predictability. You might think that a boring job means a dead-end career. But in reality, predictability can be your secret weapon for success. Studies have shown that a predictable routine boosts mental focus and reduces decision fatigue. When your job is stable, you don't waste mental energy on daily surprises, and that gives you room to think and grow. The average employee spends only 28% of their time on tasks that match their strengths. With a boring job, you can spend more time refining the skills you're good at. It's a chance to perfect your craft in ways that fast-paced roles can't offer. Predictability also allows you to build a strong work-life balance, which is key to long-term career advancement. In a job where you know what to expect every day, you're less likely to burn out. In fact, employees who have predictable schedules report 22% less stress than those in unpredictable roles. This means you'll have the energy and mental clarity to pursue further education or develop side projects that can elevate your career. The great thing about boring jobs is that they often involve repetition. But that's where the magic happens. Repetitive tasks give you the chance to fine-tune your skills and discover patterns others might miss. As author Cal Newport writes in his book Deep Work, the ability to focus without distraction on a cognitively demanding task is a skill that gets rarer every day and is valuable in our economy. This is exactly what predictable, repetitive jobs allow you to develop: intense focus that leads to expertise. Moreover, predictability in your job means you'll encounter fewer disruptions that take your focus away from long-term goals. Instead of running from one crisis to the next, you have the time to work on things that truly matter. This leads to steady, measurable progress in your career that isn't just about being busy. It's about being efficient and effective. Chapter 2: The Unseen Genius of Repetition. Repetition isn't just about doing the same thing over and over, it's about mastering the basics in a way that sets you apart. Many successful people have used boring, repetitive jobs to fine-tune their talents. Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest individuals in the world, often talks about how he spent his early career learning the fundamentals of investing. The trick wasn't flashy, it was about repetition and refining his understanding. Repetitive tasks in boring jobs can help you spot patterns and make small improvements that lead to big changes. For example, a person working in a data entry job might start noticing small errors or inefficiencies that no one else does. By solving these problems, they can gain recognition and even create a path to advancement. A job may seem repetitive, but it's also an opportunity to innovate within a predictable structure. Consider a job that involves sorting through large amounts of data. Initially, it might feel tedious, but over time, you'll begin to spot trends that others miss. According to a study from the University of Chicago, repetitive work can actually enhance cognitive flexibility, the ability to adapt and solve new problems. This ability can be leveraged to innovate and move up in the company. Think about your role as a scientist in a lab, doing the same experiments repeatedly. It might seem boring, but every small tweak and observation leads to discoveries. Similarly, boring jobs allow you to develop a deep understanding of your work, even if it's not glamorous. There's a key takeaway here: mastery doesn't happen overnight. Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers popularized the idea of the 10,000-hour rule. He argues that to become world-class at something, you need to put in 10,000 hours of practice. Repetitive tasks, whether they're sorting files or answering customer queries, give you the consistent practice needed to build expertise. The more you repeat a task, the more it becomes second nature. As you master these simple tasks, you free up mental energy to focus on higher-level thinking and problem-solving. That's when you start to see real career growth. What might seem boring to others is actually your ticket to excellence. Chapter 3: Quiet focus, the secret ingredient to success in a world where everyone is racing to achieve more and do it faster. Quiet focus is a rare commodity. A boring job might just be the perfect environment to develop this skill. With fewer distractions, you can dive deeply into your tasks and get more done with less effort. According to Harvard Business Review, workers who have fewer interruptions are 50% more productive. In a predictable job, interruptions are minimal, allowing you to focus for longer periods. This kind of focus is key to doing great work. In his book The One Thing, Gary Keller argues that to achieve extraordinary results, you need to concentrate on one thing at a time. A boring job lets you do just that, focus without constant demands for multitasking. By focusing deeply, you'll unlock creative solutions and make impactful changes that others miss. This deep work mentality also translates into better learning. Repetitive tasks let you observe how things work without the chaos of constantly switching gears. Over time, this focused attention will make you an expert. Author Daniel Goleman, in his book Focus, notes that the ability to concentrate without distractions is more important than IQ in determining long-term success. In fact, research shows that people who work in predictable, low-stress environments are less likely to experience burnout. One study found that 40% of workers who have high-stress jobs experience significant mental fatigue, compared to just 25% of workers in routine jobs. The more stress-free and predictable your environment, the more you can focus on improving your skills and advancing your career. The beauty of a boring job lies in the fact that you can control your pace. You don't have to worry about jumping from one crisis to the next. Instead, you can develop a rhythm that allows you to think clearly and act with purpose. This is the key to building both your career and your personal well-being. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying these insights. Stay tuned for more game-changing tips on how boring jobs can help boost your career. Chapter 4, Boring Jobs, Big Networks. It's easy to think that boring jobs isolate you from the key people in your industry. But the truth is, mundane roles can put you in contact with the right people who value consistency and dedication. Networking doesn't always have to be about big events or flashy meetings. Sometimes, the best relationships are built quietly, over time, in everyday situations. In fact, a study by the University of California found that employees who work in stable, predictable environments are 25% more likely to develop strong professional relationships compared to those in high-stress roles. When you're in a routine job, you'll be able to network in a more relaxed, organic way. Instead of being caught up in the whirlwind of constant changes, you can take the time to connect with colleagues and managers on a deeper level. As social psychologist Adam Grant highlights in Give and Take, people who build relationships based on genuine connection tend to see the biggest career growth over time. Consistency helps you create this kind of connection, without the pressure. In boring jobs, you also have the chance to observe and learn from others in the organization. The quieter, less noticeable roles often give you access to mentors who are seasoned and willing to share their knowledge. These mentors might not be easy to find in high-energy, fast-paced environments, where everyone is too busy. Quiet roles create opportunities for one-on-one connections that can push your career forward in ways big promotions or titles can't. A good example of this is people in administrative roles, who often interact with top-level executives. Although their jobs may seem boring on the surface, these employees have a unique view of the entire organization. They hear important conversations, gain insights into the company's strategies, and can use these observations to build relationships and position themselves for advancement. Moreover, networking within a boring job isn't just about connecting with people who can help you immediately. It's also about building trust and credibility. People notice those who show up consistently and do their work well, even when no one is watching. Over time, this builds a network of supporters who will help you when it's time to take the next step. If you're finding this helpful, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on more powerful tips about turning your career around, quietly but effectively. Chapter 5, Mastering the Art of the Invisible Job. Sometimes, staying under the radar can be the best career strategy. In today's world of flashy promotions and viral moments, we often forget that some of the most successful careers are built behind the scenes. In a boring job, you're not constantly in the spotlight, but that can work in your favor. You get the chance to observe, strategize, and perfect your craft without the constant pressure of proving yourself. Author Jim Collins, in Good to Great, describes the importance of what he calls Level 5 leadership leaders who are humble, self-effacing, and willing to focus on the long term. This kind of leadership thrives in jobs that don't demand constant visibility. Quiet roles give you the space to focus on long-term goals, making steady progress that will eventually be noticed. Think of some of the most successful people in history. Many of them started in low-profile roles. Bill Gates, for example, spent years working on software development in a relatively obscure role before he founded Microsoft. It was his attention to detail and focus on the long term that led to his success, not the constant hustle for attention. When you're not constantly in the spotlight, you can afford to take calculated risks and experiment with new ideas. In a quieter job, you don't have to constantly prove yourself, which means you can test ideas without worrying about immediate judgment. The freedom to fail without the spotlight on you is a huge advantage when it comes to innovation. Moreover, invisible jobs often allow you to learn how systems work without the noise of competition. For example, administrative or support roles give you insight into the inner workings of a company, how decisions are made, what drives success, and where the company's weaknesses lie. This knowledge is invaluable when you're ready to move into a higher profile position. Sometimes, the most successful careers are built through steady, reliable work. People who thrive in boring jobs tend to focus on the small wins that add up over time. By staying under the radar, you can quietly build a reputation for reliability and competence, qualities that are often more valuable than flashy successes. Chapter 6: The Joy of Progress Over Perfection. In a world that values perfection and instant success, it's easy to feel like you're falling behind if you're not always chasing the next big thing. But what if the key to success is actually making steady, consistent progress? A boring job gives you the opportunity to focus on long-term growth rather than short-term perfection. Instead of trying to be perfect from day one, you can make small improvements that add up to big wins over time. A key principle of career growth is understanding that progress is more important than perfection. As Atomic Habits author James Clear explains, you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. In a boring job, you have the space to develop effective systems for yourself. You can improve your skills slowly and steadily, without the pressure to perform at a perfect level right away. This is especially important when it comes to personal development. Many people feel overwhelmed by the idea of making huge leaps in their careers. But in a predictable, stable job, you can set small, manageable goals that lead to significant improvements over time. Just 1% improvement every day will compound into massive success over the course of a year. Steady progress is also about consistency. When you focus on making small improvements, you're able to maintain a sense of momentum. According to research from the University of California, workers who focus on incremental progress are 38% more likely to report feeling motivated and engaged at work. The slow and steady approach often leads to greater satisfaction in the long run. Plus, when you're not chasing perfection, you're less likely to experience burnout. A boring job with steady progress gives you the chance to build resilience over time. You can learn how to cope with setbacks and keep moving forward, without the pressure of always being on or perfect. In conclusion, the joy of progress over perfection is about understanding that career growth is not a sprint, but a marathon. Boring jobs often provide the right environment for that steady, unglamorous work that leads to real success. By focusing on making small, continuous improvements, you can reach new heights without burning out or sacrificing your well-being. Be sure to subscribe and join us for more tips on how to make the most of your career. It's not about the job you have, it's about how you use it to grow.